it's Dr. Parikh, and this is an overview of Psych of Women for Fall 2020. So with remote learning, I'm trying to make things really accessible and flexible. I'm also keeping in mind that we don't know what's going to happen this semester, and that people are probably going to have more personal emergencies than is usual. Every semester there are some people, sometimes it's me, sometimes it's students, who have a personal emergency, but really I tried to make a plan that assumed that a lot more people than usual would have things that come up that interfere. So I wanted to be as flexible as possible while also still giving that sense of connection for people who want it and are able to attend class at a particular time. So there's a whole set of videos. I'm very lucky in that I taught this class online before, and so I could use all of those materials to make it sort of like a hybrid experience. If you want this to be a fully asynchronous online experience, you can do that and earn full points. So you have that option. There's the syllabus. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to try to focus on ways that things are different than usual. So office hours, I haven't set my office hours yet. I will set them, but keep in mind that they might have to change because I'm hoping that my child will go into daycare and stay in daycare, but we don't have official word yet whether our daycare is even opening, and a lot can happen. So always check to see if you click here, there's not going to be anything there right now, but you can look and see what openings there are once I open those. So again, this is just the same thing. I've highlighted anything that seems really, that's kind of more relevant to pandemic in pandemic pink. Oh, and I have an email list for the class, which makes it easy for me to invite the class through Google Calendars. So that's how I'll let you know what days and times we're meeting. It should be, we're starting off with the assumption that it'll be Tuesdays, except for our final exam time, which is on a Thursday. And I chose Tuesday, so I wanted to give you credit for the amount of time you're going to be spending watching videos and doing online work. But I also do want to meet regularly. So I chose once a week, and I chose Tuesdays, partly because that's the day that I have backup childcare. So if daycare is closed, I have at least one other option left. Whereas Thursdays can get a little fuzzier. This time should be fine on Thursdays, I think. Let's see. So I don't necessarily expect you to be, it's not a typical attendance setting. But I do expect you to be interacting with the course at least once a week, ideally a few times a week. If there's something that's going to keep you from interacting with the course for a few weeks at a time, please let me know. Not that you have to tell me all your business, but I can't help you prepare and mitigate, kind of make the losses as small as possible if I don't know that something's going on. And sometimes I can help connect you with people in student life to help you navigate that process with a lot of professors. I don't know, I don't think I'm going to record most of the Hangouts that we do, but if I ever am recording, it's a good idea to enter something in the chat so that I know so that I have an easy, clear record that you were there. Because if you don't say anything, sometimes you don't end up anywhere in the video, even though you were there. So when we are meeting via chat, whenever possible, turn on your video. Now, I know that's not always possible. I'll respect that. There may even be times that I have to turn my video off if my kiddo is home and there's just chaos. But ideally, find a calm, quiet, well-lit space. So here I'm in probably the best lit room of my house. I've got a little bit of distraction from this frame. A lot of times the space that I usually use for recording is just a really plain background, but this one I'll show off for a moment. My nephew did a drawing of my kiddo from when he was about 9 months old. So a pretty calm, well-lit space, but at the same time I recognize we don't have a lot of choices. I can't go into my office. I'm home. That's where I am. Sometimes I can sneak off to my in-laws' house. So do the best you can, but it's okay if there's a kid coming in and out, or a pet, or another family member. If my kid is home, I can almost guarantee he's going to be on camera at some point because he can smell unavailability. But what we've realized with, at least with my kiddo, is that if we let him come crawl on our lap, say hi to our friends, and then play near us, that's usually enough to make him happy. So we've just kind of embraced that. All right, this is our life right now. So pets, cats, other family members, or pets, kids, other family members, it's not that big of a deal. With audio, headphones make a big difference. Echoes sometimes happen when not enough people have headphones. And if you're not engaged in a back and forth at the moment, it's helpful to mute yourself. And you'll notice I often mute myself when people are presenting or something like that. But I also, sometimes your internet just isn't good enough on a particular day or in general, or there's lots of people who need to be on from your place at the same time. So I understand if you can't do video, try to at least be available by audio. But if you're very active in the chat, you can still get credit without audio. I know, especially if it's just a once in a while, that's fine. Or if you talk with me, we can work things out. Let's see. So class format. Usually I would want this to be pretty interactive. I was planning to run it somewhat of a hybrid just because I have all these really cool videos and materials put together already. So in some ways, this isn't that different from the format I was hoping for, except if we were, if it were a normal semester, we would be doing at least one day a week in class, just normal discussion, and we probably wouldn't be doing so much with the discussion boards. So office hours, I'm going to try really hard to accommodate your availability. If I set office hours and I find that a lot of people can't make them, I might adjust them because sometimes that's easier for me than making lots and lots of special times. But it's really helpful for me, especially right now, if you're planning to come to office hours, make an appointment. That helps me space out and kind of see how busy I'm going to be and make sure that I don't have, 10 people all aiming for the same spot. But it also helps because if I have a personal emergency, I know that you were planning to come and I can send you an email to let you know that I'm not going to be there. And so that's particularly relevant now because, again, I'm trying to prepare for the unknown as much as I can. And keep in mind, if my kiddo is home during the day, I may end up setting a lot of my office hours after his bedtime just because I know that I can focus on that I'll just be free then. Because even if there's another parent home, again, he smells unavailability. For email, I might have something else. No, there's that. One thing I'm doing, I considered giving out my cell phone number, but what I'm doing instead is encouraging, if you have a really short, quick question that you are hoping to get my attention, that you think I can respond to pretty, just a couple words that I don't have to look up in the syllabus. When you ask me due dates, usually I have to look it up anyway, and so. But if you have a quick question, you can use Google Chat, and that pops up on my phone just like a text would. I think I forgot to mention it, but also I have my office phone set to forward to my cell phone right now since I'm not in my office. And so for both of those, be somewhat aware of timing. So for office phone, I would say, kind of like 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.-ish hours. And for chat, I would say not after about 10 p.m. Just email, though. Email is free game. Email does not make a noise on my phone. Everything else makes a noise on my phone, so there's the risk of waking me up and making me grumpy. But email never makes a noise. You can send an email anytime you want, and I'll get back to it when I get back to it. Oh, I just realized some of this stuff in here is not accurate because I rolled some stuff over from previous weeks, and I don't think that part is accurate for this setup. I like doing my syllabi in Google Docs because it lets me update it here and there. You can probably still see the version history, I'm not sure, but it lets me clarify things as I go, especially semesters like this. I really like Google Docs because if, let's say school has to shut down for a week, I don't think we'll do that because I think now we know that remote is a possibility. And so I think we'll be ready to make the jump. But if something weird happens, I've tried to keep it as easy as possible for me to push deadlines around. Never earlier, always later. This one for discussions. So once a week on Tuesdays, we will meet for live discussion. And if there's ever a day that I can't come, so I have a personal emergency, maybe my kid spikes a fever at daycare, which is a really low temperature right now. It doesn't have to be much of a fever for them to have to go home right now, which is completely understandable. But that's part of why I'm not fully trusting that I'm going to have consistent childcare, even though I'm happy to pay for consistent childcare. But so if I can't attend class due to a personal emergency, you as a group could still choose to attend class. The link should still work. Just record the discussion and somebody make sure I get the discussion shared with me, because if I don't attend, I don't think I get it automatically. And I'm willing to give you points for that. So even if I can't make it one week, you're welcome to meet without me. Essentially, the way that discussions are going to work, everybody makes an initial post in the discussion board. So you put your initial thoughts, and some of these get a lot of points, like your main topical post where you're talking about the content from the readings and videos from the week. That post gets 30 points, which is the same as your weekly quiz. So your discussions are worth, let me see, just over half your points from class are coming from discussions. So this is a lot of the credit you're getting for the class. And everybody makes initial posts, and then you have two choices. You can either respond through Blackboard a few days later after everyone's made their first post, or you can attend Tuesday's talk and get credit somewhere else. And I'll show you that in Blackboard in a moment. Assignments, when you look, I don't know if discussions have changed that much. One thing that's changed is the media posts. I originally was planning to have everybody do one every week. And then last semester, even though it was an online class, they still tried to scale things back a little bit when the pandemic hit, because it was the second half of the semester. So now I've got it where everyone posts once during the semester. So there's a couple people posting most weeks, but you may have to just respond to those. Excuse me. So that's one change. The other big change, the autobiography and the advocacy project both got simplified a bit. So the autobiography, I originally had a part 1 and part 2, but I think a lot of the application work that I want you to do is going to come out in your character analysis paper anyway. So we've just got one autobiography, and then the advocacy project. Again, I had kind of cut it up into a few pieces, but I realized I was duplicating the work that you're doing in the discussion board. So so you're still posting about it several times in discussion boards, but you just have one final project paper that you turn in. And that advocacy project can be done in groups. You're welcome. Just send me an email saying who you would like to be in a group with, and I'll look it over. I'm imagining groups of 3, maybe 4 people, but if you want to do a larger group and you want to explain to me how this is kind of a bigger project and the workload's still pretty fair, I'm open to considering it. So just email me and make sure that I have said, yep, that sounds fine, before you move too far along in it. And then assessments, there's a weekly quiz. Right now it is 3 questions, but they're what I've done for the discussion boards, you get to pick what you focus on. So you have a lot of choice. For the assessments, I use them to really push the subtle nuances of 1 or 2 main ideas typically from either the textbook readings or the empirical articles, the journal articles. So I found 1 or 2 concepts in the readings, and I'm really pressing to see if you really understand what the reading is saying. So I highly recommend, they are timed. Make sure you've read and kind of have a sense of where everything is, and then just find the concepts as quickly as you can and really revisit the detail of the text. All right. Module to-do list. So this is borrowing from what I do for the online course. And for the online course, I say what day things are due. But I think it's harder to do with in-person classes because the days change from semester to semester. So you have to redo the whole thing every time. But also, I want to leave flexibility in case I need to move things around. I don't want you to be confused when I have so much detail in the supporting sources and then I change something. That's really overwhelming for students. So here it's just kind of a list of what's happening in each of these modules is 2 weeks, and then the 7th module also covers finals week. So there's a lot of, so here you don't see the exact due dates things are due, you just see kind of the rough order that things are due in and what all is happening in this 2-week period. And then there's references, which will be helpful. So everything, I think every source I have in here, I have a reference for here, so that if you need to use it for a paper, you can just come grab the reference there. And there's often, I've put the citation. And I haven't linked the last one yet. So the last piece is the remote meeting schedule, and I'm going to link that in the syllabus, hopefully. But this is just to help you track when we're meeting. As of now, Tuesdays are the better day for me. So there's a couple things that might happen. If we find that students really just like getting together and chit-chatting, we could certainly meet more times, or if nothing else, I could set up a link for you all to meet, and then if I'm able to join, I'll join. And a lot of it depends. If my kiddo's in full-time daycare, I have plenty of time to join, but if he's not, it gets a little, I have to work more flexible hours. So I think for this class, though, I think we'll be able to do the discussion we want to do in one day. And again, you're doing a lot of videos and a lot of readings. Most of them are short and small, but it's still, you've got a lot going on. Again, plan A for this fall was to do to have most weeks be just once a week meeting. So I think this will work out. So this schedule, the day here, it's just the Monday of the week. So don't let that confuse you because we're a Tuesday, Thursday class. So it has when we're meeting and what we're discussing. And the pattern that let me pull up the calendar. So if you want to know due dates, Blackboard calendar is where you go. Let me adjust this a bit. Yeah, you can, I'll cover myself up for a moment. I do not get out enough anymore. So the way I've kind of the rhythm I've set for the course is for the module, the check-in is really just you kind of literally checking in, saying how things are going, and then you attach a picture of some sort. My thought originally was that it would be a photo of you, of a family member, of something from your life, or like something you saw in a store that week, but that's not a thing for a lot of us right now. So it could also be, last time students would often post like a media article or a picture from social media here, and that's fine too. So they would kind of use this in addition to the one media report that they would do. Let me see if I can, it's just a touch smaller. So you do a check-in and then the media report, and again, you're going to do one for the semester. And it says in the module to-do list is where I said who's doing it when. So the first week I've done one as an example. I may end up posting more than one just as an example. Partly it's my way that I get to sort of update the course without adding technical more material. And then it'll show, I've tried to kind of highlight who is going each week. I try not to do two. One of the reasons that I didn't do this in Blackboard is that y'all are not locked in for, you're not locked in stone to be in this course. And so I wanted it to be somewhere I could add or take away people or move people around pretty easily, depending on whether we get more people in, whether we lose people, whatever happens, we can be more flexible that way. So the first week of a module, I have all the posts due Sunday night because that gives you plenty of time to do them and look over each other's before class on Tuesday. And then Thursday, the rest of the week is kind of, so I imagine this chunk of time is when you're doing a lot of your readings and videos, that second half of the first week. Or even really, the whole first week, you're doing a lot of that. And then you have this topical post, so that's where it's like a mini essay. Or not even a mini essay, it's a decently sized essay. And then there's usually another assignment that has to do with a bigger assignment you're moving towards. So a lot of these have to do with your character analysis paper, which I explain in other videos. And then later on, they have to do with your advocacy project. And then the second Tuesday of the module, you have the quiz. These guys with the due date, that's just where I give you points if you come to class. So if you come to class, you get fewer class points on your discussion board, and then you get more points over here in the module. What do I want to go to next? So that's, so here we also do like first impressions. So it's something where there's no discussion board, but we just kind of talk sort of what are your initial thoughts about the topic this week. So whatever you've read and watched so far, or just kind of what are you hoping to learn? What do you know already? What do you think you know so far? So it's a little bit, so usually the first day is going to be a little bit lighter, more focused on the media and just kind of a sense of going into this topic. And then the second week is where we're really digging into the topic, really discussing deeper ideas, and also talking about these ongoing projects. Okay, so that's the syllabus. Let me see what else I need to go through. Oh, I made this way too big, and now I don't know what to do with it. What else do you need to know? So we've got the Blackboard calendar. That's where you find due dates, because specific due dates I don't think are listed anywhere else. And that's because Blackboard, if I have it just in one spot, it's easy for me if I need to move things around. Again, never earlier, only later. So then there's slides. I think all of this should be in other overview videos, but these are my notes. The playlist. This is new, the Google Drive folder, so I've just thrown everything in one accessible folder. So you can kind of see everything here together. I like to link things from a couple different places. Another thing that'll be new that's not going to be on the old videos, the autobiography folder also has this bonus opportunity. I do this a lot of times, but it's my first time finally building it formally into Blackboard instead of being an, oh, by the way, I'll give you bonus points through magic. But this way it will come right in here. So there's a Google form. There's a few things that you're required to fill out, but you can, if you really don't want to do much, if there's something you don't want to tell me, if you just put some random letters in, it'll take it. So you get 5 points for doing the sheet, at least the required pieces. And then another 5 points if you upload a picture, which just, I usually do that because, for one, it's fun to see the pictures that you choose and kind of a little bit of your personality. But also, normally I do it for my attendance sheets because I'm so bad with names and faces. So I use it as a crutch. But also now it just helps me feel that connection. And I also, in Blackboard for your introduction, I have you post a photo, and I will give you bonus points if you create a Blackboard profile photo, because that's one of the main ways we're going to be interacting with each other. And I imagine we'll have some students who do almost all just online stuff, some students who come to almost every class, and some students who do a little bit of both. You don't have to pick a track. You don't have to pick whether you're going to do the discussion boards or the classes. It's really just, if you miss class, I'll wait another couple days, and then if you haven't done your discussion responses, you won't get credit for those. So it can vary week by week, or if something just comes up, it's not a big deal. I encourage you to come to the discussions because I think it's useful and meaningful, but there's no point difference between engaging in responding on the discussion board versus responding through the live class discussion. As a reminder, though, no matter which track you're doing, you have to do the first post for each discussion board, or you lose lots and lots of points, especially for that topical post. All right, I think those are the most important things. Again, things in the other videos might look a touch different, and some of the assignments that I talk about might be a little bit more complicated, but you can always double check the materials that you have, your module to-do list and other things. Excuse me here. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Especially, I have the benefit of working from an online model for this class, but it's still my first time setting up a class to be remote in this way. So there's probably going to be some things that I left unclear or that don't quite match up in some places. I tried to take out anything that would be confusing, but I'm sure I missed some things. So if something seems weird, please don't hesitate to email me. I think that's everything. So take good care of yourselves. I'm looking forward to meeting with you. I'm looking forward to interacting with anyone, even if it's over a screen. So please come to some of our classes. The first day is just going to be getting to know you, any questions you have, things like that. Yeah, take good care of yourself. See you soon. Bye-bye.